So, welcome everyone, and thanks for joining us today at the online conference, Entangled Transparency 3.0. My name is Nolasco-Rózsás, and together with my colleague at the Center for Art and Media Karlsruhe, ZKM, Clara Runge, we will be the hosts of today's event. So throughout this brief conference, we will hear statements and we'll have the chance to discuss the role of transparency on the internet, specifically in a new yet only potential type of decentralized internet. Just to go back very, very briefly to the beginning, Web 1 in the early 90s was a content delivery network that allowed users to access static data on websites without having the chance to feedback them. It evolved to Web 2 in the mid-2000s that is currently still in use. It allows its users to create and distribute content on, for example, social media channels, as we very well know it, or streaming platforms. And now, 2 decades after the appearance of Web 2, the third version of the internet approaches seemingly quite rapidly. In order to grasp this shift and to have a chance to critically engage with it already before it actually arrives, this conference was conceived in close collaboration of 3 institutions. The Hyundai Artlab, represented by Tai-Jung Kim and Do-Eun Cho, who are also somewhere here. The Goethe-Institut Korea, represented by Melanie Bono and Ji-Soo Kim and Wo-Jung Choi. They are also somewhere on the site. And the Center of Art and Media, Karlsruhe. So together we posed questions such as what kind of organization processes are necessary in order to maintain online self-determination and sovereignty. What is the role of transparency, and in what extent shall it be part of the third web's structure? And maybe most importantly, what does blockchain technology mean for artistic production, outreach, and their infrastructures? We invited speakers and also invite now the participants, all of you on the site, to seek answers for these questions while listening to statements and then throughout the discussion round, which will be introduced and moderated by Michael Connor. So let me introduce the program in detail first. So we will start with a short presentation of the platform where this conference takes place, common.garden. And after that, we will have the chance to listen to 2 live keynote presentations, each followed by a short Q&A. And the presentation of an artwork that resonates with various conceptual threads of Web 3.0 was planned to take place as part of the conference under the title The Endless Poem. It was conceived by Peter Weibel together with Christian Lölkes. But unfortunately, we have to announce with great sadness that the artistic scientific chairman of the ZKM, Peter Weibel, passed away in Karlsruhe on the 1st of March at the age of 78 after a short and serious illness. But before his illness, a video with him and Christian Lölkes was recorded in which they explained the poem's concept. So we will see this video, and following the video, artists, theoreticians, curators, and cultural practitioners will deliver either live or pre-recorded manifesto performances. We call them manifesto performances because they are short statements on the potentials of Web3 with a focus on artistic production and institutional practices. And as mentioned, we will close with a final discussion that is moderated by Michael Connor. But before we start with the program, I would like to give the word to my colleague Clara Runge, who will inform us about technical and practical details of the platform. So thank you very much, and see you around.
Thank you, Livia. And yes, hello, also very warm welcome from my side. Before we start, I quickly want to share some technical information and general guidelines with you. The event will feature live sessions and show pre-recorded videos, as Livia already mentioned. The live sessions will take place nearby the screen share window, so in the area that we are gathered at the moment. For the presentation of the endless poem or the manifesto performances, we will move to the specific area on the page or on the garden. Of course, we will indicate that in the given moment. As you may have already noticed, during the conference, only the presenters are visible and audible while streaming. The visitors, so you are not visible or audible. Only if you get closer to another visitor's egg, your camera gets activated and you can talk with each other privately. You can move around freely on the page, but please notice that the volume of the speaker's voice will decrease the farther you move away from the presenter. If you have any questions during the event, you can write them in the chat next to the screen share window. We will collect them for the Q&A sessions. During this, we will also open a guest mic where you can ask your questions and share your comments directly. You just need to move your egg in the given guest mic circle and your camera will be activated. I'd also like to point out that the event will be recorded the entire time. After the conference, the recording will be shared or available on the garden itself and on the partners' websites. On this occasion, I'd like also to welcome Andy Koch from the ZCam Video Studio, who joins us in the event as the so-called recording egg to make sure everything is well documented. We are very happy about the opportunity to host this online conference here at the Common Garden platform. It's a really great alternative compared to the other giant communication tool corporations. The artist-run platform has many wonderful features, some of which were custom-made particularly for this event. The platform is built with a lot of love, but still in development at points. So in case technical issues appear during the event, please be patient. If there are major issues or you got kicked out, just refresh the page. To get some more information about the ideas and the background of this platform, I'm very happy that we have Constant Doulard with us today, the concept and media artist whose work is deeply connected to the internet as the founder of Common Garden. He will introduce the platform and share some insights about his early Web3 projects, starting from 2014 up to date. So, dear Constant, thank you for being here and taking the time. And yes, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Clara, and thank you everyone for joining here in this wonderful confetti fest, jumping around and making connections with everyone. I understand sometimes we need to find a quiet corner where you can just listen to things. I'll take a very brief moment to thank ZCam, of course, for working with Common Garden. Common Garden started a few years ago, well, as you can guess, with the start of lockdowns. But the main principle was to form an alternative to do something yourself. So seeing that a lot of institutions and a lot of presentation institutions were required or basically were dependent on working with large commercial platforms, let's say my artistic heart kicked in and I was thinking, I was raised by punks, at least educated by punks, we should do this stuff ourselves. So this is still in an experimental phase because we're tying together the project from project to project to project, let's say from different types of opportunities. So we're very happy to be here at this stage and where ZCam can host this wonderful conversation on Common Garden, excuse me. My own practice got involved with Web3 in 2014, as said, where we started to register artworks in the Bitcoin blockchain. It was like actually working with ascribe.io here in Berlin, or actually I'm in Amsterdam, and we started to work with registering hashes inside a transaction. So you would send a minimal transaction to another party, and inside the transaction, or as a note to the transaction, you would send a hash to a file. That would be the unique identifier to that file, and therefore register and track it, be able to track its provenance. And this is something that I still find very interesting, that you would use that type of distributed technology to basically piggyback through that to find other infrastructures for communication, for identity management, and these things. So this is also something that we're at the moment we're working on in implementing within Common Garden. So account structures could work with Web3, and this is something that we're actively experimenting with, for example, Haus Elektronische Kunst and a lot of other partners, where we're trying to see if Web3 can actually be more than just a transaction or a transaction layer. And especially the identity management is something that I'm particularly interested in. I will keep it quite brief because I think it's a long program today, and we started a bit late. So again, thank you for attending Common Garden. I call it an artisanal medium. So it's made with a lot of love, and it will have its glitches here and there, and we're growing each time, and we're very happy to be in this position currently. Yeah, I think that's it.